What's up YouTube, DMLX here, welcome back to another gaming showdown. In this episode, we'll be pitting against two characters who are the perfect remedy for delivering reality-banging destruction, Jack Joyce versus Jesse Faden. And the way we'll be deciding the victor is by analyzing their equipment, powers, skills, weaknesses, and feats. As a note, all my research will stem from each character's respective games, that being Quantum Break for Jack Joyce, and Control for Jesse Faden. So, with that being said, let's get on with the showdown. Now in Quantum Break, Jack isn't equipped with any specific gear that is unique to him throughout the entirety of the game, but instead uses various firearms from defeated enemies to accompany his time powers. These firearms are classified as three types of weapons. Primary weapons, which consisted of the standard pistol, burst pistol, and heavy pistol. Secondary weapons, which consisted of the standard SMG, tactical SMG, advanced SMG, and the assault rifle. And lastly, the heavy weapons, which included the LMG, carbine rifle, the semi-automatic shotgun, as well as the automatic shotgun. As the director of the Federal Bureau of Control, Jesse is armed with the service weapon, aka the Director's Gun, an object of power that is connected to the astral plane and is the primary weapon Jesse wields throughout the game. Additionally, the service weapon can shapeshift into a variety of different forms with unique functions, which include Grip, the sidearm form which is similar to a revolver that provides high accuracy and single shot damage. Shatter, which handles similar to a shotgun with a wide blast radius but shorter range. Spin, a rapid fire form with low accuracy balanced with a high rate of fire. Pierce, a highly powerful single shot form that can destroy environments, allowing Jesse to damage enemies behind cover. Lastly, we have Charge, a form that charges up shots, and with the greater the charge, the more power the shots deliver. As a result, when it comes down to comparing equipment, Jack doesn't have any signature weapons or gear to defend himself when going into battle, seeing that he depends on others to provide the means when bringing the heat. Unlike Jesse, who has her service weapon by her side 24/7 that automatically recharges ammunition. Also, thanks to the gun's shapeshifting capabilities, the service weapon provides Jesse multiple ways of engaging Jack in combat at any range, as well as deliver various forms of damage. Meaning this round goes to Jesse.
And this gun's alive. You know what? I'm happy. Happy to be here.
Through exposure to high levels of chronon energy, Jack has the ability to control and manipulate time temporarily, which is beneficial to Jack when escaping from attacks or freezing enemies. Additionally, Jack's time powers come in various forms, which include Time Blast, which breaks time in a focused area with destructive results, and allows Jack to redirect incoming projectiles, and is great for picking off enemies from a distance if Jack is low on ammo. Time Vision, which allows Jack to sense the locations of enemies, weapons, and items from a distance, as well as reverse specific moments in time when it comes to interacting with his surroundings. Time Stop, granting Jack the ability to temporarily freeze time in a focused area, including people and objects, and is best used to stack gunshots against adversaries to increase lethal damage. Time Rush, which allows Jack to run outside of time, providing him better opportunities in escaping mortal danger, along with Jack being able to speed time and swap between cover to avoid attention from unaware enemies. Time Shield, which is a protective bubble of frozen time that can deflect bullets, and anyone caught in the shield can be slowed down as well. And to cap things off, we have Time Dodge. Similar to Time Rush, this ability allows Jack to quickly dash out of harm's way, which is greatly beneficial for hiding it behind cover. Jesse's telekinetic abilities come from being a paratiliterian, basically individuals that are capable of wielding paranatural powers, usually by binding to objects of power, like the service weapon, the hotline, the floppy disk, or the Songmaster jukebox. In Jesse's case, she possesses a host of paranatural abilities, which include Launch, which allows Jesse to levitate objects in her environment and then redirect them back at enemies as lethal projectiles. Shield, which allows Jesse to telekinetically rip objects from the environment and use them as a makeshift barrier to block enemy attacks. Evade, giving Jesse the ability to move rapidly for a short period of time, which is quite useful when dodging enemy attacks or moving quickly through open spaces. Levitate, which gives Jesse the ability to lift herself into the air and drift across large areas. Well, that's one way to get the high ground against foes. Next we have Smash, a telekinetic melee attack that causes a blast that can knock over enemies as well as break down walls to access open areas. Also, Smash tends to complement well with other abilities such as Evade, which can be used for more rapid and more powerful melee attacks on enemies, along with Levitate allowing Jesse to perform a devastating slam to the ground. Then there's Seize, the only telepathic ability Jesse has at her disposal, which allows her to take over the minds of physically weak enemies, and is mainly used to temporarily turn adversaries to Jesse's side and have them fight against other enemies in her way. Lastly, we have Shape, Introduced in the Foundation expansion, this ability grants Jessie the manipulation of crystal formations within the Foundation sector. However, I won't be counting shape in this video because it's only beneficial to Jessie when interacting with the crystals placed in the specific sector. Hence, when it comes to comparing powers, Jessie may have the advantage in covering more ground from the air and causing mental distortions. Jack's ability to manipulate time itself grants him superior offensive and defensive maneuvers, with Jack being able to pull off a multitude of attacks without enemies knowing where the strikes are coming from or having the time to react to what is about to be thrown their way. Jack even conjures up a more powerful shield that protects his entire body, plus seeing that Jessie has nothing to oppose Jack's time vision, she's got nowhere to hide if the going gets tough. And if Jessie gets tagged by Jack's time stop, then she's in for a world of hurt, meaning this round goes to Jack. When looking at Jack's skill set outside of his Chronon particle gifted abilities, not much really stands out. Seeing that for most of his adolescent and young adult life, he's always been getting into mild heaps of trouble with the law, from doing petty crimes with his longtime friend, now mortal enemy, Paul Serene, which came in handy when sneaking around Monarch facilities or simply just breaking into locked rooms. Though Jack does appear to be an expert gunman, as shown to be quite proficient with various firearms thanks to his weapons training in Laos, and seems to be confident in his hand-to-hand combat skills when using Time Rush to perform takedowns. Not to mention is quite resourceful with his time powers when traversing through environments in and out of Zero State, compared to Jessie, who's also quite resourceful when it comes to using her telekinetic abilities in combat, whether it's use of destroyed debris or office supplies. Also, like Jack, Jessie can handle a firearm quite well no matter which form her service weapon takes. However, her hand-to-hand combat skills are pretty much non-existent thanks to her telekinetic splash ability doing all the close encounter work for her.
She's getting beat! No, she's getting mad!
Making it hard to gauge how well Jessie is at defending herself without her powers. Although Jessie has shown to be quite clever when it comes to navigating through the mind-bending rooms of the oldest house, as well as being able to solve the intricate puzzles scattered throughout the various sectors. So when it comes to evaluating Jack and Jessie's skill sets, they're heavily dependable on their supernatural abilities when it comes to combative situations. Also, both are equally capable of handling various firearms. However, I gotta give the slight edge to Jack, as he's proven to be a more competent fighter if the situation were to become a bare-knuckle brawl. As shown during Jack's Time Rush takedowns, with him being able to execute a variety of punches and foot stomps to lay out enemies, as well as exploit any weak points on their body. Meaning this round goes to Jack Joyce. In terms of weaknesses, Jack's only exploit comes in the form of the Chronon dampeners, which cancel out the abilities of Chronon active individuals, preventing them from using powers with the exception of the ability to move freely within Zero State environments. Also, Chronon dampeners can come in the form of grenades used by Monarch operatives. And I guess another weakness you can consider is the disadvantage of Jack not having a signature weapon or special item to help him in combative situations. Aside from that, Jack is susceptible to pretty much every form of physical harm, seeing that the powers of time do not make Jack indestructible. Jessie, on the other hand, has no clear weakness to nullify her powers or service weapon, aside from being possessed by the Hiss. Nevertheless, like Jack, Jessie is susceptible to any form of physical harm, whether the threat is supernatural or not. So, when breaking down each character's frailties, the results show that both Jack and Jessie are on an even playing field, seeing that they are highly vulnerable to various forms of physical injuries such as melee strikes, gunshots, and explosions. However, I'm going to give the slight edge to Jessie due to having her service weapon be available during every combative encounter. Whereas for Joyce, he'll most likely be going into battle unarmed without the aid of any cannon fodder to supply the firepower, meaning this round goes to Jessie. When looking back at Jack Joyce's journey in saving time itself, he's taken down numerous Monarch operatives, including Strikers and Juggernauts, who have access to Chronon technology to combat against Jack's time powers, traversed through multiple collapsed structures while time was stuttering out of control, saved multiple people's lives including Dr. Sophia Admiral from a crashing drone in Zero State, his brother Will from falling debris, twice, and depending on your in-game choices, you either save Amy Farrow or Nick Marsters from Monarch custody. Defeated Paul Serene, Jack's childhood friend turned enemy, who also had the same Chronon powers. And even with Paul's over a decade experience of being able to control time, Jack managed to come out victorious in averting the end of time itself. On the other end of the spectrum, Jessie has overcome a fair share of supernatural obstacles as the newest director of the FBC, such as being able to bind with various objects of power that grant her a massive amount of paranatural abilities. Jessie being the only known director of control strong enough to use the teleportation ability around control points, which was thought not to be possible amongst FBC staff, was able to navigate through various sectors of the oldest house with ease, even when the structures would shift constantly throughout the building, fought off a multitude of extra-dimensional beings such as the Former, Astral Spikes, Mold 1, the Anchor, and as well as handled the main threat of control, the Hiss, a hostile paranatural force that invaded the oldest house and possessed various FBC agents including Head of Operations Helen Marshall as seen in the Foundation DLC. Now Jessie couldn't save many from possession of the Hiss, but she did manage to save her brother, Dylan, who was also a former candidate in becoming the director of control, by purging the Hiss of his mind at the cost of sending him into a deep coma. As a result, when comparing Jack and Jessie's moments of triumph, both have proven they've been able to handle most problematic situations with little support from others after gaining their powers for a short period of time. Though Jessie has defeated a wider range of adversaries that came in a variety of forms with distinct abilities that presented more of a combative challenge, in contrast to Jack, who mainly fought off armed troopers that were easily disposable with or without the use of his powers. And even when Monarch guards were equipped with Chronon technology, they still had nowhere near the level of command over time that Jack had. Thus, if Jessie and Jack were to swap universes where Zero State doesn't play a major factor, I have a feeling that Jessie would have an easier time taking down Monarch with her paranormal powers over Jack handling the Hiss with his Chronon abilities, while traversing through the oldest house. Meaning this round goes to Jessie.
I'm the director of the Federal Bureau of Control. We're in this together. You and I.
And your winner of this episode of the Gaming Showdown is Jessie Faden. With a score of 3-2, Jessie was able to hold her own against Jack's advantage over time manipulation thanks to being better equipped for combat with her service weapon and experience in defeating enemies that were way beyond her control. So let me just think in the comment section down below. Do you believe Jessie Faden is the superior Remedy character? And who would you like to see next face off in the Gaming Showdown? If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, it really helps me out. Subscribe for more content from me on the Gaming Showdown. I'm DMLX, I'll see you in the future.